In December, you walked into the legislature and you mentioned the R word, recession. Was that a teacher dropping a textbook to get the attention of the class, or is it serious concern?
No. I'm glad that I was talking. First of all, I said we were on the verge. We weren't in one. We have an economic slowdown in the country. 2/3 of the state have revenue problems. 20% of the states already had cut their budget in the last fiscal year, which we didn't have to do. But we don't want to lose the ability to make sure that our numbers add up. I was just on the phone with 3 of our rating agencies in New York. And the fact that our pensions have been reformed, the fact that we're running a surplus of a couple billion, which we're not going to fritter away, that's what we use in the middle of an emergency, and the fact that our budget is strong and balanced and structurally sound, along with the fact that we've improved the tax environment and the regulatory environment, we're doing very well with these rating agencies. And the minute you slip, the minute you take your eye off the ball, you spend money you don't have, you create rosy scenarios, that's the moment when things start to look bad and companies start to say, we're not going to go there, we can't predict the future.
You have your book coming out in April, To Pass America, United or Divided. What will it entail?
Well, the book is, when you think about the book, you think about a horse. The horse is the campaign, but the saddlebags on the horse are very interesting. It's about the challenges that we have, how we got here, how we get out of it, the fact that people will consume only that they agree with, and what's the consequence, the issue of faith and how we've lost a sort of a center of our values in too many of our communities. There's a lot in this book, and I'm very, very excited about it. This will be my 4th book, but this one is sort of a prescription about how in America, even though we have such differences, we can figure out a way to unite, to pull ourselves together, and to realize one other thing. The strength and the reform of our country doesn't really come from the top down, it comes from the bottom up. What happens in our neighborhoods, in our families, in our communities, that's what really matters in regard to drugs, schools, poverty, so many things.
There's a question in that title, though, United or Divided. Where do we stand as a country right now?
Well, right now we're very polarized. And, I don't think you ever get anywhere in this country when you're spending all your time fighting back and forth. In fact, we see there are families that have become divided, based on their political persuasions or their viewpoints. I mean, it's really pretty remarkable. I hope this is going to fade over time, but the book offers some prescriptions as to how we can deal with this.
As governor, your citizens are impacted by all the executive orders that are coming out of Washington. What was your reaction to the immigration ban?
Well, I said initially it was done, it was rolled out without much thought, and I think that you had the president's staff, they ill-served him. I said it right after it happened, and with a new president, you have to have staff that says we got to slow down. I mean, even in my operation, there are things that I want to do, and my staff will say, you know what, have you thought about the consequences of this? I don't think they thought it all through, and he was poorly served, and they're in court, and we'll see where it goes.
You will be in Munich later this week. What do you think the reaction of the rest of the world will be to what has transpired here in the United States over the last month?
Well, there's concern. People are wanting to know, well, which direction are we going? Because they get unsettled over there. They want to know, what's America going to do? Is America going to continue to lead? What are all these changes all about? So when I'm there, and look, I just was at the Dutch Embassy in Washington, part of a program. They just want to know, are we going to have a strong NATO, which I hope we do. Are we going to be united in terms of the Western thought, Western ideas, our Western civilization? There's a lot of upheaval, and they're nervous, and they want to know, are things going to calm down? Are we going to hang together?
ToPassAmerica.com just launched with the core Kasich crew. What will be its purpose?
Well, I'm going to, I believe at some point here, be able to get back out. In fact, I have a call today on the balanced budget amendment, which I think is important to the Constitution to force the Congress to act responsibly. Will allow me to keep a team together to be able to communicate things I feel strongly about, whether they're national security, whether domestic issues. I think it's important that I can keep a voice, and a voice that's going to be fair. My goal is to, with any president. I praise them when they do a good job, and if I think they're in the wrong direction, I want to point it out.
Are you keeping your options open politically?
No, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, I want to continue to be a voice, but in terms of running for public office, I really don't see that. I mean, I have no interest in running for the United States Senate, and we have a Republican president who I will support when I can, and at times point out where I think they misstep. But I don't kind of look forward here, John, to a point where I'm going to be seeking public office again. I mean, you know, nothing is ever completely off the table, but I just can't see what the scenario would be. And I've had a great run in public life, and but I'm not going to fade away. I mean, you know, people who are tired of me, you know, you're going to get more tired of me, because even when I'm out of this office, I'm not just going to fade away. I'll be around.
You still got almost 2 years left in office, but nevertheless, the jockeying has already begun. Do you imagine being in a position where you back somebody in this race?
If Mary Taylor runs, I'll support her. She's my lieutenant governor, has been a good partner, and you know, I think these endorsements are much to do about nothing, but you know, obviously if she runs and would like my support, she'll get it, and it's going to be an interesting run-up to 2018 elections.